Hey everyone, thank you for joining me for part 2 of my 1911 front strap checkering video. Today we'll talk about cutting the vertical lines and also finishing everything up, pointing everything up and evening all the lines out. Right now we have the frame clamped in the vise with our vertical line guide in place. We also have a zip tie that is set with the very top line from the previous video when we cut our horizontals going this way. So we're using the same checkering file that we had in the first video, but this one we actually have an angle ground on the front, which allows me to go all the way up to that zip tie, which acts as a stop so that we don't have a lot of overruns to come back and fix later. It just speeds up the process quite a bit. So to actually cut these, we'll place the file directly against the vertical guide, set it down, and I'm going to use my thumb to put a little pressure to the side and also down as I start working the file back and forth, and you can actually hear it stopping on that zip tie. Okay. Once we get a few lines cut, we'll take it out, we'll remove the vertical line guide, and then just as the first video, the lines that we cut previously will act as a guide for our new lines. This time, instead of just scooting over one line at a time, we'll actually start to roll the file, still allowing the previously cut lines to guide it, and then slowly taper into the new lines. Once we get so far, we'll actually then scoot it over a few lines and start the process over again, and keep rolling the file down along the frame until we get to our stopping point, whether we take the lines clear out to the contour line or leave a little bit of a gap, which is the way I prefer to do it. Once we have those lines cut where we want, we'll go back through, recut our horizontal lines, then redo our vertical lines, and we'll repeat that process until we get the checkering to the point where everything is nice and even, to where the diamonds are very, very close to being perfect points. Then we'll actually come through with a 60-degree riffler file that also has the point or an angle ground on it, so that it can also stop up against the zip tie. And then we'll use this to come through and clean up each line individually. In between cutting all these, I'll actually use Dykem or one of the fat Sharpie markers to coat everything so that I can see exactly what I'm cutting and make sure that I track everything as it's going down. The very last step will be deepening these last few lines and then bringing the previously cut horizontal lines down to that contour line to make sure everything matches up.